Welcome everyone to Friday in the Kitchen. So say hello to, I heard Patricia, I saw
Yeah, Patricia is
Kathy,
on me.
Sherry, Helene, Gloria, and everyone else who's joined. Because I can't see everyone. Today, since
Kathy
it's the lazy days, who's there?
and Kathy.
Kathy, yep. All right. Today is the lazy days of summer. We are doing gazpacho by request from last week, but also it's a great option. So gazpacho is originated in southern Spain, where it's hot, 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 and they were looking for economical food to be able to use up what they had, and so a lot of the ingredients are coming from the what the Spanish had for their ingredients, and it's very simple to make. And we're going to do my version, which is a little different, but not that much different. Okay. So tomatoes, and you can use whatever tomatoes you have. You can, and if for, I didn't know this, but tomatoes actually should be, I kind of like my tomatoes in the fridge, maybe because we don't use a ton of them, but you can, to get them to sweeten and ripen and be sweet, leave them out for as long as you can on in the room temperature. And you can use like Roma tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes. These are on the vine tomatoes that I got. So you want them to be ripe so you get the best flavor. And the other one you can use, which gives a sweeter flavor as well, is cherry tomatoes. So we do use a lot of cherry tomatoes in our house. And so, you know, this is a great recipe for, you know, when they start turning, the skin starts looking a little wrinkly and you don't want to eat them, like pop them in your mouth that way, but they're still okay to eat. They're not bad. This is a great time to use them in something like a gazpacho, or you could use them in other things. So I'm just chopping up my tomatoes here, and I'm going to put everything into my food processor. You can use a blender if you want, if you don't have a food processor or you prefer the blender. The blender is going to give you a more, I guess, refined, smoother gazpacho. Your food processor is going to be a little more down, I don't know, down to earth isn't really the right word, but a little more, you know, chunk. I don't say chunky, but not as smooth. So I like it a little bit on just the food processor is the way that I do it. So no, you don't have to, this is just rough cuts. It doesn't have to be anything special. Use about 6 tomatoes. Now I've got these ones, some of them are bigger, so I'm not going to use all of them. And this one has a little thing on the side. Get rid of this. One has a bigger core. Get rid of that. So this one is really juicy. It is very ripe. So I'm going to get all those juices from this one for sure. Okay. And then I'm going to add a red pepper. Or you could use any kind of sweet bell pepper is good. And all I'm going to do is cut around to kind of avoid the seeds. I just cut around the core, and then this is my favorite way of doing it. I don't have to do any coring. I'm going to leave this little piece for my dogs. And look, I get the whole thing off. I could probably get a little more here, so I don't waste anything. And I have like no seeds here. I got all the seeds are here. They could go in the compost. And just rough cuts again. And put this into the blender. Or sorry, the food processor. I haven't used my food processor in a while for this show, so here we go. Now throw that in. And then I'm going to add in a cucumber here. Just cut off the ends. I'm going to save a little bit for my pups because they love cucumbers. They're going to be so excited for their cucumbers. So I'm just going to cut this rough again. The food processor is going to do the job for us. All right. Oops. There's some for the dog. If you didn't know, he's already here eating them. He heard them fall and he ran. So, a little lucky bit for him. The other dog will get the one that I saved for them. Okay. Love the live TV or live Zoom. And then I have a red onion. I'm going to start with half a red onion. This one's a quarter of the red onion. And tomatoes are very distinctive. Each tomato has their own little flavor. So this is a recipe where you're going to want to do your own taste testing to make sure you like it and do some adjustments to it if it's, you know, not the right flavor for you. So I could always add a little more onion, and then I can add in my garlic. So earlier before we started, I minced up some garlic. You could actually just cut the garlic. I was thinking about that as I was mincing it, that probably because we're using the food processor, we could just chop it instead of mincing it because it's going through the food processor. But I have 2 cloves of garlic here, and you want to start first by mincing or chopping your garlic so that you get the full benefit of the enzymes from the garlic, those microbial properties. You want to let your cut garlic rest about 10 to 15 minutes before you use it, because this is where you get all your good properties. And so I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice here. I've got about the juice of 1 lemon here. I have a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to add. So that'll give it the acid. And then I always like to balance my acidity with a little bit of sweet. And again, we're going to play around with the acid after we blend everything up or process it. I'm going to add a touch of maple syrup. I start with a teaspoon, and then I can change that later if I want to add add. And then this is like a way to balance between the acid and then adding the sweet to balance it out. My herb, I have fresh basil here. I'm going to add in. I'm really going to the top on this one. So I got about a quarter cup of fresh basil. And you want that fresh stuff for gazpacho for sure. And then one of the things the Spanish would do is they would use their day-old or old stale bread to add to the gazpacho as a way to thicken it up, make it a little creamier, and make it a little more substantial. And I'm not, this particular cooking that I do is gluten-free, so I'm not going to do any bread, but you could add, if I were adding bread, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little pepper, but if I were adding bread, I would add like a day-old sourdough bread. That's what I would add. But the other option, if you don't want any gluten, you want to be gluten-free, is I'm going to add some cantellini or white kidney beans here. So I'm going to add those in. About a cup. You can add as much as you want. Now you can do your gazpacho without the bread or the kidney beans. It'll make it a little creamier and more substantial, but you could do without for sure, to your taste. And yeah, now let's blend this up. What I was going to say, the reason I like sourdough bread is that it is fermented bread, so it helps to break down some of the gluten. It's easier to digest than regular bread. So if you that would be a better option than just plain bread. All right, so let's do some pulsing here. you have a lot of, like your tomatoes are really juicy, you're going to have a lot of liquid to it. So you can decide on your thickness. This is pretty thick here. So I can add some water to it as well if I wanted to make it thinner. But I'm going to start by doing a taste test. Oh, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. I like it the way it is. Mm-mm-mm. So good. I'm just going to add the rest of these beans here. I don't need a little bit extra. And just give it a little one because it's still, this is very chunky right now. So I'm going to do a little bit of more blending. Beautiful. All right. I can see flecks of green from the basil in here. Use another spoon. So like I said, you could add some water if you want it I'm gonna keep it like this. This is good for me. I want it a little more substantial, and I'm good with this. So now, it's good. It's chunky, but it's good my taste. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Now I can pour this into a container and put it into the fridge. And I would let it sit in the fridge to chill. Woo! I might need 2 containers. Or I'm gonna eat this part, ha ha ha, and put this in the fridge to chill. Like I said, if you want it to be very smooth, I would recommend using your blender instead. And you have a very chill lunch soup for have a salad and soup for lunch. This is going to be just divine for a hot day. Beautiful. All right, so now that's it. How easy is that? Let me move some of my stuff away, and I'm going to bring my computer back over in today's. Hey, everyone. Move it up to see if there's any questions. All right. Oh, so Gloria, how did my book writing go on the weekend? It was amazing. Thank you for asking.
Oh, that's good.
I got the first draft of my book, Restore Your Energy, all done. And now
Yeah.
it's doing the second round and then getting ready to publish it. So I'm going to publish it at October 23rd is my date that I picked for publishing.
Okay.
So that I can do some promotions this time more than I did with my first book. I just kind of launched the book and said, "Yay, I got my book out there." But this one I'm going to try and do a little more promotion. And I'm going to be doing an event around Restore Your Energy as well the same week. So a little more substantial than just getting the book out. So
Yeah, that'll
really
be
good.
great.
Yeah. Sorry?
That'll be great. I'm looking forward to reading it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it being done. And it was good. So we started at 7 p.m. my time and went till 3 in the morning. And but the person who's facilitating it is so amazing at getting you to just do it and don't worry about anything. Just get stuff on paper. And we did sessions, and really it was really good. So she's a master at getting people into action instead of
Oh,
kind of thinking about it and
mhm.
ruminating and not getting anything done. So I have my first draft. Obviously, there'll be quite a bit of work to do the second draft, but it's easier to review than it is to actually once you have something on paper, it's easier to be the reviewer than it is to be
Yeah,
the one that does it. I always found that in my corporate job too. It was so much
mhm,
easier to be the one reviewing the email or the report than the one who had to put it together. So
yeah.
so now I've got it put together. So that's great. So I'm really excited. And I popped our recipe into the chat for everybody here. So if you want to take advantage of that, and yeah, it's um, that's it. Beautiful, wonderful
Kathy,
day.
how would you garnish this? I'm curious.
Ooh, so you could garnish it with some basil, like a little, like, what do you call that? Ah, chiffonade some basil, that cut it up into like little ribbons, and then you could garnish it that way. You could garnish it with some green onion as well, or some of the red onion. Yeah, so there's
You could also put cheese, Parmesan.
okay. This is a plant-based cooking show.
Well, they do make plant-based.
Yes.
So
So it's a whole food one. As a matter of fact, ooh, okay. Ooh, next week
it's they
I'm
do
gonna give
it's
you
they
a
do have the
preview. I'm giving you a preview. I've been hiding these because they're my favorite. So over the next 2 weeks, we're gonna do a creamy cheese that you can use as a spread on things. So plant-based,
uh,
using sunflower seeds. But I want to
Okay.
show you this because who wants to have a creamy cheese without some crackers? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
these crackers, I don't know if they're in the US. They're Eve's crackers. I bought them at Whole Foods. Are the bomb. Okay.
Mm,
I love
uh,
them. And I've been hiding them from myself because I will eat the whole thing in one sitting. They are amazing. So you could actually you have with your gazpacho soup. You could actually also garnish it, Kathy. If you use the bread, you could garnish it with the bread, or you could garnish it with some
crackers.
crackers too.
Yeah,
Those
or
are
another idea
amazing.
would be just a sprig of basil.
Yeah,
Would be nice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could just take a sprig of basil and pop it in the center, and then you're done. It would look
Hmm.
good. I love that,
Wonder.
Kathy. Looking at how to make the food beautiful. Yeah, we
I
eat with.
wonder if I don't know. Probably wouldn't go, but I was just thinking, like maybe cinnamon or like no, probably not cinnamon. The other one, the nutritional yeast
You
on
could,
top.
yeah, if you wanted to make it a little cheesy, you could add some nutritional yeast to it, and you could put some. You know what else you could put on top is hemp hearts would work too, because hemp
Or
hearts
the
are good everywhere.
hem heart, yeah, hem
Yeah.
hearts.
No,
The
chia seeds, you need to soak them there because they're like little pellets when it's like actually like a pop, almost like a poppy seed, right? When they're, before you soak them. So I would say like you could put hemp hearts on there as well. And yeah, so there's lots of things. And I think in the recipe, I have some ideas around garnishing it as well. So because you got to garnish, so you could also do some cucumber or tomato as well.
Oh,
Uh,
that sounds good too.
yeah, so you could just chop some up and put that in, and then that'll dress it up for sure. But I
I'm
love
really
that
think I'm
question.
thinking,
That's
yeah, I'm
it.
really thinking about those cucumbers because of the spritzers you did. I wasn't able to come live, but I saw the recording, so I got the jars ordered and I've got my English cucumbers for my spritzers.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, so good, right? I gotta say, my favorite is the hibiscus tea, though. That's my favorite. Yum, yum, yum. But they're all good. They're all good. And for the summer, so nice to have something refreshing that's easy to do and healthy, right?
Debbie,
Yes.
it's Patricia. How long do you keep it to chill in the fridge?
So you want to chill it for 1 to 2 hours would be the minimum, and you could keep it in the fridge for I think about 3 days.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
So that it would stay for sure. But that allows it's like, when you make a pasta sauce and you have the leftovers and they taste better than the first day because they've had a chance for all those flavors to really accentuate and blend together. So, and this is really to be chill. So my vegetables for the most part were cold. So my starting point, it's pretty chill. But it gives you a chance to blend those flavors and allow them, especially like the garlic, that's my favorite, the garlic to just like permeate through everything. And
Sounds
nobody
good.
wants to talk to you. Yeah, great question. Love it. All right.